What's going on, keepers? I'm Kane and this is Noodle. And today we've got a lot in store. So we've got multiple new enclosures. We got a new enclosure for the quail, a new enclosure for the rats, and potentially a new enclosure for the Leachianus gecko. Also, we've got a semi-new layout to the reptile room, and on top of that, we do have some really sad news towards the end. So stick around and see what all we've got in store. Alright guys, well, as you can see right here, the reptile room is looking completely different. So I'm going to pass the camera here to my wife so I can show you around. Well, basically these two things are in the same area, and this is in the same area. The Leachianus gecko got moved over here, and then a couple of our tarantulas, our springtails, and our isopods all got moved up here. And then our tarantulas got moved back here to the back wall. But the newest thing that I'm really excited about is our rat rack that you got to see in the last video. So I got it finished up. It was a bit of a painstaking job, I'm not even gonna lie. It took me a whole week of evenings, and I had to take it apart one row at a time, and it was just a job. But right now, we've got basically the top half, neglecting this one, full, and it's working out great. There was one mishap where two of these got stuck on. When I first filled this back up and got it going, where it had sit for a moment, hard water had built up in these little water nozzles, however you want to say it, and nothing would come out. So I had to take them out and sit here and tap and tap and tap until I could get the stuff broke up where the water would come through. Well, in doing that, I guess either I wore a groove in them or messed a couple up or something, because two of them got stuck on, and well, I didn't check the rack for a day or two, which, don't be like me, check your rack every day, but we're all human and sometimes you just don't look. It's just how it is. This thing's fully automated. Anyway, I come back, two of them's been stuck on, and these poor ASFs were just standing in ankle deep water. Needless to say, the babies had died, and thankfully the adults made it through. But it was disgusting, to say the least. I just want to tell you, you've heard the expression stinks like a wet dog? Let me tell you right now, ain't nothing stinks like a wet rat. Dude, oh, I have an iron gut, and I was gagging trying to deal with this. But anyway, enough of that. Just sharing some experience here. The best thing to do when you do get a new rack, even if it's brand spanking new, go through, tap all your nozzles with your finger, make sure water's coming out of them, and once there is, leave it sitting for a day or two before you put anything in it, and then go through and check all the tubs, and you can see if there's water in them, and you'll know if you have a leak. Now, in the future, you can't stop everything, but that's a good quick test. I, on the other hand, wanted to hurry and get these moved in, so that's what I did. But anyway, yeah, we got a new setup here in the reptile room, semi-new setup. It looks really good, I like it, and I love the new rat rack. So just quickly here, I'll take the camera back, and we'll show you a couple that we got going on here. So we've got quite a few of the cinnamons. In previous videos, I was calling them albinos, but I've since been corrected that they are cinnamons. And I tell you, I'm just loving these. Now, one thing I'm not big about this rack, there's a ton of little babies right there, compared to my other one, is the drawers don't slide quite as good, and part of that may be my fault from taking it apart and putting it back together and not putting it together as good. We got some regular saddlebacks. This These right here are one of the ones that got soaked, and that's why there's currently not any babies in here. And one thing that stunk is, see this one right here has the black ears, and that's something I'm trying to start working with. So I was already nervous. It's like, man, that's one of the ones I was excited to get. Got some more saddlebacks here. Yeah, he's cute. And same here. I see a ton of babies mixed in there. I'm seeing some with eyes open, so we may go through and start pulling some of these. Down here is some of my last holdbacks. You can see this one here. See, it's got a solid black tail. And so I'm holding him back since he's solid and has that solid black tail. And hopefully I can start producing some of those. You got some variegated ones and a couple solids in there. And then this last one right here was the other ones that got flooded. And they're my whole group of solid wild tops, which I was definitely upset about that because I was excited to get these going too. So that's all of our ASFs right now. And as you can see, we got plenty of room to grow. So a couple of the things I did with this setup was there was another level. And as you can see, I just have just enough room here. So if there had been another level, that would have been touching the ceiling. So I took one level off. I changed all the wiring out to this stucco netting. What's sweet is these nozzles fit just perfectly in here. I'm not even using the latches. It just shoves right down through the hole perfectly. And then I also built these in here. These were just open on top so that I have an area for my nozzle and I have an area for my food, because I think it's easier when you have separated areas for your food. It's easier to keep track of it, and I just like the organization. But overall, I have to say I'm very, very happy with this rack. I love it. I'm glad I made the purchase. You know, between buying it, gas money, material money, and my time, I'm around $1,300 to $1,500 in this rack. But compared to buying a brand new ARS rack this same size, after shipping and tax was going to be like $4,000. So, you know, it really pays off to, sometimes it really pays off to just do the work yourself and save yourself a lot of money. In some cases where you're saving 50 to 60 bucks, you know, it might not be. But in this case, it was definitely worth it. So, like I said, I'm just loving the reptile room. I think it looks awesome. And yeah, always exciting stuff going on. Alright, so we've got a good upgrade here. I was going to build something for the quail, but time is an issue, and honestly I could just buy something for a little bit more than what I could have built it for. Now, I have to say, I'm a little disappointed in Tractor Supply. I'll go ahead and make it where you can see what we got here. So, you can kind of see the picture there. This is the condition they brought me this box in. I asked the lady if they had anything else that wasn't like this, and she said no, they're all like that. And I was like, well, what if something's tore up? She assured me that there's a 30-day warranty and that I couldn't have a discount because it's just the box. I understand there's probably nothing wrong with it, but to me, it's just kind of bad business. You know, giving your customer a box like this. You wouldn't hand somebody a bag with your fast food covered in dirt and say, well, the food on the inside's alright. Just kind of not that great, but hey, we're going to look past it. It's going to save me a long drive from going somewhere else. And we'll fast forward through the slow parts, but I'm going to go ahead and work on putting this together. Opening the box should be easy since it's pretty much soaked. It's like Christmas for adults. Alright, straightforward. We've got all our pieces here. Honestly, it looks like it's pretty self-explanatory. You got your sides, your front, your back, your top, your bottom, a little door on the inside, and the front cage. So they look like they've made it pretty easy for us. But normally, if I was off camera, I'd do the normal cocky male thing and just try to put it together. But since I am on camera and we don't want to waste time, we'll at least look and see what order they've got the stuff going on in. Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. So, you've probably been sped up from here to now, but I'm just going to go and give you a quick pause so you can see what I was fighting with here. It's got a little latch right here in this, like a little turnkey latch. It doesn't really say what it's for in the instructions, but you got to get it just right. Anyway, we're almost done here, so let's keep moving on with this. Well, I'm going to pause you here again. I figured out where my issue is. It doesn't tell in the instructions what that was for. I'm guessing that little latch is to go to this. I've got the front panel inside out. But anyway, no big deal. We'll just take this back apart. Alright, that wasn't too bad at all. How long have we been recording for, honey?
28 minutes.
28 minutes, so, you know, a half hour. 30 minutes, put it together, you're done. I mean, if I was building my own, to go get my material, to cut it, to screw it all together, fabricate all the metal, do the roof, paint it, whatever else, you're looking into a good project worth of time to save. Well, we'll just be upfront. I got this from Tractor Supply. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the video. And it was $150 plus tax. So it was like 163 bucks. You know, $163. Yeah, I could have built my own a little bit bigger and a little cheaper. But at the end of the day, my quail are going to get a little nicer enclosure. And it took me 30 minutes to throw it together. And, you know, honestly, I do want to put them in something bigger eventually. But, you know, this could be grow out or anything down the line. So let me bring you in here and we'll get a closer look at it. So this is basically it right here. If anybody decides to get one on their own, as you can see, I went through the thing with this latch. They don't tell you on the instructions where to screw it. Well, you have to close it and screw it in to see where it's going to fit. Overall, I mean, for what you pay, it's pretty good. So you got the wire floor here. So when they use the bathroom, it just goes straight through it, and you got a pull-out tray that you can just clean out without them getting out. You know. So you got this side here, so that, you know, once the lid's closed and the door's shut, they got a little dark area that they can get out and hide, and then they got an open area so they can get some sunlight. It's 4 foot wide, 2 foot deep, and I think about 3 foot tall. So, I mean, you know, it's not the most high quality thing ever. And then here's this little latch here on the front. That's kind of corny, but again, I mean, for 150 bucks, it's already pretty well put together, and you just screw it together on your own. It's not too bad, really. The one thing I will say, this thing is really lightweight. So, you know, you may want to, if you're concerned about that, you may want to weigh it down or screw it down or something like that. If you're putting it indoors, there are little adjusters on the feet to where you can adjust it to level to the floor. That's pretty nice. If like, this is this would be, they call this a rabbit hutch, but you can use it for quail too. But yeah, I have to say, overall, I'm pretty pleased with it. So anyway, we're gonna get our quail switched over to here, and then we'll tune back in with you. All right, well, here we go. Now, I'm not gonna lie, they are just a little crowded in there. Which, let me check. I don't even think. Okay, one has discovered this side. Oh, while it's kind of empty, I'll go ahead and show you. They've got the wire cage right here on this side. I think what I'm going to do is put a piece of plywood in right here, and maybe put a little guard right there, so that I can give them a spot to dust bathe. These type of birds really like to get in the dust and just kind of fling it around, and I think they would really enjoy that. The other thing is, you know, right now they're pretty spooked because I just caught them all and put them in here. And there's 11 of them at the moment. They say about 1 square foot per bird. And this is an 8 square foot container. So right now we're technically about 3 over the limit. But honestly, I feel like there's probably multiple males in here. Like I said, I got all these quail in that brooder for 50 bucks. And I didn't get the sex on any of them. So more than likely, some of these need to come out of here anyway. So that's going to be my next step, is to go through and get the males out and either harvest them or sell them or whatever needs to be done. But yeah, this is I'm happy with it, you know, for 150 bucks. Can't beat that. So just a random side note here, don't mind the mess, is this tank was the tank the turtle had come out of that we moved over to the other 75. That's our dog's pen, don't mind that either. I take it down usually for the videos. But Yeah, that's the one that the yellow belly slider came out of. And I just happen to have this acrylic lid here that if you silicone it on, it turns it into a terrarium. So what I'm thinking on this is I'm gonna go ahead and do a background in this and fix it up, and I'm gonna turn this into an upgrade for the Leachianus gecko, Fluffy. I mean, it's you know, right now Fluffy's in a 12 by 12 by 18, and this is like a 12 by 12 by 24 or something like that. So, you know, ideally it'll get about this much extra room, so it gets a little more height. Now, it's not a permanent upgrade. It's not a lifelong enclosure, but for the time being, I've already got it. I can go ahead and upgrade it to something a little bigger, one step up, and I can go ahead and sell that one to get some more funds towards something else. So that's pretty awesome too. Alright, so we do have some sad news about our guinea pigs here. So we did have an incident with them. You know that we've been talking about it in our videos. So we're really excited to get some babies. I'm going to go ahead and sit them down here. So, unfortunately, their name's Sky and Rebel. Sky did have some babies, and so we were super excited about that. And you know, I've always said we're going to be transparent here on the channel, so we're just letting you know what was going on. So I was in the kitchen, and I heard Michelle get really excited, and she hollered out, and she was like, "Honey, there's babies!" And then she kind of paused, and that's when I knew something was wrong. Well, I'd read on the internet, and you know how it goes. I always say do your own research. Well, I should have done more of my own research. Let me grab my dog here because he's just having a fit. Come here, Rocket. You get to be in the video. So, we were doing our own research, and a lot of the people on there said that you can just leave the dad in with the mom up until the babies are born. Just make sure to take him out a couple of days after she's given birth because she can get pregnant again. So we just kept him in there and didn't think nothing of it. Well, a hard way to find out. I heard Michelle holler for me. I heard Michelle holler, and then she got quiet. When I come to look, well, unfortunately, the dad had eaten the babies. We won't go into too much details because it's sad, and I just don't want to talk real gruesome content. But needless to say, some of them were gone, some of them were half there, and some of them were still alive, but not in great shape. And it was a really sad experience. Michelle cried quite a bit. And, you know, for a moment there, she wanted to give up. And I told her, you know, sometimes there's hard lessons learned in this hobby. And I've done the same thing with fish before. I remember in the past, before I did YouTube, one time I was medicating a fish tank with some parents in it that was sick, and I didn't know any better. And the babies were too small for the medicine. And I killed off like a batch of 100 electric blue car in one wipe. And I remember that was pretty devastating for me. And you know, it's sad. We want to do everything we can to do the best we can. But sometimes we just fall short of the mark. So unfortunately, we were happy and excited to announce on the channel that we have baby guinea pigs, but it's just not going to happen this go around. Now we are going to go for it again, and we've learned our lesson. So we're going to put the male in there for 4 weeks. And then we're going to separate him from her and then let her be on her own. So, you know, be on the lookout again. We're gonna have some babies. But, you know, that's just to say that sometimes in this hobby things like that happen. And you can let it make you or break you. You can let it cause you to stop the hobby, or you can let it cause you to do better. It was very sad, but in this case we're just going to grow stronger and move on. Alright guys, well I appreciate you watching to the end. As always, a lot of new stuff going on. I try to keep it moving. I know there's not been a ton of content lately, but honestly, days just get busy and there's stuff that needs to be done, and it's hard to remind myself to pick up the camera. Don't worry, we ain't going nowhere yet. We did have some sad news, but you know, unfortunately, sometimes that's part of the hobby and you just gotta let it make you stronger. But we also had a lot of good news and a lot of new things coming in store. And for those that stuck around to the end, I will go ahead and give you a sneak peek. I have been talking about building a triple 60 breeder to replace the triple 40 breeder, and I just got news today that Petco is doing half off on their 60 breeders too. So we're definitely going to be doing that soon. But anyway, as always, I appreciate you guys watching, and remember, your hobby can bring you joy, but only Jesus can bring you peace. I hope to see you guys in the next one.